On this edition of the Desert Vision, we take a look at HIMARS training at the Udari Range. Vets travel to Al Jaber for inspections, and the German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge test comes to a close.
Welcome to the Desert Vision, presented by U.S. Army Central. I'm Sergeant Andrew Valenza.
And I'm Sergeant Katie Mazos. All of those stories and more coming up, but first, we go to the Gulf. The Army occasionally has to move its assets to better suit a strategic advantage. Sometimes, those methods can be quite unconventional. Army Sergeant Vontre Hampton was aboard one of the vessels being tugged around.
The Army decided to move 2 LCUs from Kuwait Naval Base to Yokohama, Japan.
Well, the Army uses these vessels for the landing craft utilities. It's actually more for ship-to-shore operations. What we do normally is you would have another vessel out here. They would load the LCU up from that vessel, and then we would actually go and hit the beach with it, and they were able to get whatever equipment that we have quicker to the battle site.
In order to get this mission to really take place, we had to have the cooperation from Kuwait Navy Base, a host of different countries to get involved. This move is really multinational. You're bringing together groups from probably 4 or 5 different countries and nations together to move 2 vessels.
In addition to partner nations, it took a collaborative effort from the 401st AFSB, the 595th SDDC, 1st TSC, and the 1184th DDSB to complete the mission.
After all the logistics works have been ironed out, tugboats came into the harbor here at Kuwait Naval Base, picked up the LCUs. We're towing them now out to sea to link up with the mothership vessel, who will actually float the LCUs onto their deck and then take them into Japan. What makes this mission unique is there's not been one of these missions done in quite a long time.
The last time this was done was when all of the vessels actually moved from the United States to certain areas where we are pre-positioned at. And so it's been about 20 years since it's happened last time.
Reporting for U.S. Army Central, I'm Sergeant Vontre Hampton.
Dusting off older techniques can be tricky, especially in the water. Missions like these give confidence to the commanders on the ground to look for different ways to get things done.
Going from E4 to E5 in the Army is a bit of an earned rite of passage. NCO Academies help train these future leaders, even in a deployed setting. However, as we move closer to the drawdown, that seems to be changing.
Now, as you can see, the paint buckets are still here from the christening of the most recent T-wall at the NCO Academy here at Camp Buehring. Now, what makes this one different is the fact that this T-wall will be the last one to be painted.
As the end of 2020 draws closer, changes to our battle space continue to take hold. COVID-19 pushed the non-commissioned officer academies throughout Kuwait into a virtual learning environment.
It is very difficult because before you could pick up on body cues.
It wasn't as fun being an instructor because you didn't get to interact with the soldiers. You didn't get to see the aha moment.
And now, due to the eventual drawdown of forces in the region, the academies are closing altogether.
It's sad to see this place going since it's been around for so long. I mean, we had 2009 to now, so 11 years. Watching it go, it's kind of a sad day, but.
The NCO Academy at Camp Buehring opened over a decade ago and has seen thousands of soldiers graduate from the program.
To see a lot of soldiers come through, I'm like, okay, I'm counting on this. I could get this while I'm over here and get promoted and move up in the ranks and become, future leaders of this Army. It's a bummer to see it go because a lot of soldiers depended on it. Like one of our SGLs here, she came through here, She actually went to this course.
Soldiers from every corner of the Central Command footprint start their leader course journey here, on a painted slab showing what lies ahead.
It's crazy to me because all I kept thinking of was that's what I'm here for, the E5. When I got to the E5, I just kind of stopped. I can't believe that all I was focused on then was the 5, and now it's more of I'm seeing the whole picture. I didn't realize that I would have such an emotional attachment to this place.
Now the bleachers are empty. Tape residue on the wall where posters once hung, and scattered tools as the last rotation of instructors pack up and tear down.
It's sad. It really is sad. It's because, again, it's not about us. It's not about the cadre, the SGLs. You know, we were here to help these students, and it kind of hurts me to know that, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to continue to do that. But it makes me feel good to know that I have at least impacted those few so they can pass what I could teach them.
The paint on these T-walls cracks and fades, but the values, the lessons learned, and the memories remain intact. Reporting for U.S. Army Central, I'm Army Staff Sergeant David Graves.
The closing of the NCO Academy comes alongside the closing of similar schools throughout the Central Command area of responsibility.
A necessary closing as we continue to draw down forces in the region. We'll be right back.
Man, wash your hands.
Field artillery soldiers assigned to Task Force Spartan keep their skills sharp with readiness exercises at the Udari Range. Army Sergeant Trevor Cullen shows us a glimpse of these long-range fighters.
Soldiers assigned to Task Force Spartan conducted an artillery readiness exercise in the Central Command area of responsibility.
Today we came out and validated that we could give our HIMARS launchers a no-notice alert, have them travel to the airfield, and load the actual HIMARS launchers onto the aircraft ready for worldwide deployment. Because of the professionalism and highly trained unit that we're working with, they can roll those HIMARS launchers right onto the aircraft, strap them down, and be ready to go in minutes. The significance is that with no notice, we can get these field artillery rocket launchers onto a strategic airlift aircraft and move them anywhere we want to fire from any artillery firing point in the world. The strength of the United States military is the joint fight, that we can bring together Army, Air Force, Navy, anybody, and fight as one team. So by having these launchers here and ready to deploy anywhere in the region, it lets our allies know that we have their back, we're ready to work with them anytime, anywhere.
Reporting for Task Force Spartan, I'm U.S. Army Sergeant Trevor Cullen.
The 75th Field Artillery Brigade puts an emphasis on training as they continue to support Task Force Spartan and Operation Spartan Shield.
While the 75th trains in the field, the 994th MDVSS treats in medical facilities. Army Captain Jasenia Sablehouse shows us a behind-the-scenes look at her job as a Veterinary Corps officer.
As a Veterinary Corps officer, what I like most about my job is the people that I work with. So I really enjoy building those relationships with my 68 Tangos, so my animal care technicians, and my 68 Romeos, my veterinary food inspectors, as well as those that work with the working dogs, the kennel masters and the handlers.
Military working dogs are also soldiers. Animals are your best friends, and they help you get through the hard times.
The breeds that I normally treat are German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, and Labrador Retrievers. The relationship between a military working dog and its handler is a very special bond. The handler pretty much knows everything about that dog. A lot of the times, you know, especially in a deployed setting, they're with the dog 24/7, depending on the mission. Building that relationship with the handlers and the kennel masters is something that we take a lot of pride in, and we want them to know that we're supporting them in anything that they need.
My favorite part about being a 68 Tango is that I get to work with animals and show them that they are important just like humans are.
The vets in the CENTCOM area see and treat a wide range of animals, from hawks to horses and even our military working dogs.
We'll have more from U.S. Army Central right after this.
Social distancing is giving the people around you at least 6 feet of separation. As you visit businesses on base, you should see markers on the ground to remind you of what 6 feet looks like. There may not always be markers, and there may be times when people forget to social distance. If this happens, please politely remind them about the 6-foot rule. And always remember to mind your 6.
Welcome back to the Desert Vision, presented by U.S. Army Central. The COVID pandemic started roughly 9 months ago. While life is slowly getting back to normal, mitigation is as important as ever. Army Staff Sergeant Luke Wilson sat down with Captain Michael Mickno to discuss our current COVID measures.
So soldiers, what they could be doing with that is, practicing the social distancing, wearing their mask, washing their hands. If you're gonna sneeze, make sure you cover your nose and face, and just taking those measures, staying 6 feet apart. Just practicing those measures will help as things are opening up to keep it down and keep allowing things to open up. So social distancing, going off of kind of what the CDC has done, I mean the research is changing every day, but right now the guidance is the 6 feet is kind of the distance. What they say is, within 6 feet is a danger zone. 6 feet or greater is less likely for COVID to spread through the air. So that is why, we emphasize doing the social distancing. So soldiers should take this pretty seriously with these measures because, it comes down to being able to do your mission. And it's also the fact that we have a lot of things that kind of are opening up on bases and stuff, and we want those things to keep opening. So if we curb the spread of COVID, we could do our mission, we could enjoy some of the amenities that are offered at bases. So I mean that's really the two key things to take it serious. And no one wants to get sick. Being healthy, it's always good to keep practicing the good measures like social distancing, washing your hands, wearing a mask, because even though you feel good and everything seems normal, you might actually have COVID and not know it. So you might be healthy and be spreading it at the same time. So that's one of the big things with COVID-19.
You can see that full interview at facebook.com/US Army Central.
At times, being away from home eliminates certain opportunities. Thanks to personnel at the Theater Gateway at Camp Arifjan, voting isn't one of them.
So I initially got the idea to start a voting initiative we had a lot of civilians to come in and DOD members to ask, hey, where could we vote? So there wasn't really an opportunity for voting on Cap Airvision, so I reached out to my command team and asked, will it be okay if we just make the theater gateway an actual voting poll to provide those services to military members and to civilians? And that's how we got started with the voting initiative here. We, of course, had to take in COVID-19 mitigations and regulations. So social distancing was one of the bigger things, wearing masks and actually having that spacing that allowed the voter to safely conduct their voting while sitting in the facility. And also providing privacy for the voter to vote. From my understanding, this is the first voting opportunity outside of the postal services that is provided here at our APOs. So I really appreciate everyone that supported this event and that supported the initiative, the teams that have all come together and collaborated to make this initiative happen. And I really appreciate that all that they have done and the effort that's been put forward to making this opportunity available to the soldiers and civilians of Cap Airvision.
I think it's special to me because, soldiers want to see that, want to know that their voices are heard as well. It's a chance for us. We're not at home. We can't just walk in and go vote somewhere. So it's just nice to have a station here that provides us to be able to vote.
I just wanted to help people vote. That was my biggest thing, just to help those people who seek an opportunity to vote to be able to vote and get those ballots home. I wasn't really looking at how much of an impact that it could make, being that it was open to everyone at Cap Airvision. I just wanted to help those individuals who came in, do my due diligence to give customer service and provide an opportunity.
A thank you to 2nd Lieutenant Day Gardner, whose efforts led to an incredible voter turnout for this election season. Not only service members, but all U.S. citizens stationed at Camp Airvision. We'll be right back.
Americans love to vote, so request your absentee ballot at fvap.gov and send your most important vote back home.
Supporting partnerships in the Middle East is a key task for Task Force Spartan, who recently completed a command post exercise in Jordan.
Task Force Spartan units from the Central Command Area of Responsibility gathered together to conduct a field artillery command post exercise.
The purpose of Decisive Spirit 20 is to increase partnership with our Jordanian friends. What we've done to achieve this objective is we've conducted seminars and dialogues focused on the military planning process, the targeting process, and intelligence preparation of the battlefield. With this command post exercise was a bilateral event with the Jordanian Armed Forces with our artillery officers, as well as integrating Air Force assets into a combined arms operation. Just so we can learn from each other, so we understand how we can operate and facilitate bilateral operations for future operations as needed.
During the exercise, specific systems were used by the soldiers for training.
The simulation system we use, JCATS, is a realistic, multi-sided, interactive, entity-level complex simulation utilized by military units as a tool for training, analysis, planning, and mission rehearsal. It offers an excellent opportunity for exercising tactics, techniques, and procedures for units of almost any type, especially when we talk about artillery.
This exercise allowed for further partnerships to be built between the two nations.
It's been an awesome and outstanding opportunity for these two amazing military forces to gather together and practice bridging the gaps in scenarios that produce a shared support and shared security.
Reporting for Task Force Spartan, I'm U.S. Army Sergeant Trevor Cullen.
Exercises like this one allow future units deployed to the area to build on those relationships with our partners, helping our partnerships to grow through valuable training.
Speaking of training, the German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge Test has come to a close. Service members from multiple countries stationed at AJ prepped tirelessly for the GAFB, and now get to wear that badge with pride. The test was spread over a few weeks, where participants competed in timed events like the fitness test, an early morning ruck march, and a pistol qualification. Out of the 310 competitors, 289 received badges. 176 of those were gold.
The GAFB has been a lot tougher than I thought, and it has been a great opportunity to challenge people, have a good time, and to get out here with everyone else.
I definitely felt, nervous at first. I think everyone's nervous because they want to do good, but once I started going, just like anything else, you get in the zone and you're locked in.
This is the 5th year of the GAFB test here in Kuwait, and each year, the list of participants and gold badge recipients grows. Well, that will do it for this edition of the Desert Vision.
For more stories, check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/US Army Central.
For U.S. Army Central, I'm Sergeant Katie Mazos.
And for Task Force Spartan, I'm Sergeant Andrew Valenza.
Patton Zone.
Always forward.